A warm welcome to you all to this session. Today in this video I will be discussing about structural system. First we have to know what is a building and a building system. A building is an assemblage of various systems. A building is an assemblage that is firmly attached to the ground and that provides total or nearly total shelter for machines, processing equipments, performance of human activities, storage of human possessions, or any combination of these. So these various systems includes basic functional system, structural system, HVAC system, plumbing and drainage system, electrical, electronic and communication system, security system, and other specialized systems. So in this video, we are going to see in detail about the structural system and its classification. So what is a structural system? In system design, building is considered as a system. A system is an assemblage formed to satisfy specific objectives and subject to constraints, restrictions, and consisting of two or more components that are interrelated and compatible. Structural systems are those elements of construction that are designed to form part of a building structure, either to support the entire building or just a part of it. It's a system means holding the components of a certain systems and transfer the load through the members of a structure to provide stability and durability. Each component being essential to the required performance of the system. In structural engineering, it refers to the load resisting subsystem of a building or object. Next we see what are all the classifications of the structural system. Structural system is classified as wall bearing system, tent system, cable system, skeleton structure system, and shell system. Skeleton structure system is further classified as beam and column system, frames, truss, arch, and the shell system is further classified as shell, folded, and domes. Let's see one by one. So the first one is wall bearing system. In this structure, the whole load is supported and transferred by masonry wall. It is very rarely used today for large buildings, but smaller residential scale structures are being built. This type of system uses walls to carry the vertical and lateral loads of the structure down to its foundation. It essentially consists of thick heavy masonry walls of brick or stone that support the entire structure, including the horizontal floor slabs, which could be made of reinforced concrete, wood or steel member. A wall that bears the weight of the house is the wall bearing system. So next type is skeleton structure system. So it is further classified as beam and column system, frame, truss and arch. First we see what is a beam and column system. Here we can see the image and the beam and column system. Beams and columns could be built using the same shapes and materials, but each serves a different function and is designed differently. Beams are used to support the weight of floors, ceilings, and roofs of a building and to transfer the load to a vertical load bearing element of the structure. And what is the purpose of the column? The function of the column is to transfer the vertical loads from a ceiling, floor or roof slab or from a beam to a floor or foundation. It carries loads mainly in compression. It is assumed to be the most crucial structural member of a building because the safety of a building rests on the column strength. So the next type is in skeleton structure system is frame. In RCC, a frame structure is a structure having the combination of beam, column and slab to resist the lateral and gravity loads. These structures are usually used to overcome the large moments developing due to the applied loading. This image shows the steel frame structure. It is typically consisting of vertical columns and horizontal beams which are riveted, bolted or welded together in rectilinear grid. The development of this technique made the construction of the skyscrapers possible. So the next type which comes under the skeleton structure system is truss. So what is truss? It is a structure that consists of members organized into connected triangles so that the overall assembly behaves as a single object. Truss are most commonly used in bridges, roofs and towers. Here we can see the various types of truss. There are two main types. First one is planar truss, which lies in single plane. This type of truss is typically used in series with the trusses laid down in a parallel arrangement to form roofs, bridges and so on. In contrast to a planar truss, which lies in a 2D plane, a space frame truss in a 3-dimensional framework of connected triangles. Here we can see the images of trusses which consist of triangular units constructed with straight members. The ends of these members are connected to joints known as nodes. They are able to carry significant loads, transferring them to supporting structures such as load-bearing walls or the ground. The last type which comes under the skeleton structure system is arch. What is arch? It is a vertical curved structure that spans on elevated space and may or may not support the weight above it. Or in case of a horizontal arch, like an arch dam, the hydrostatic pressure against it. The images shows the various arch type structures. An arch is a pure compression form. It can span a large area by resolving forces into compressive stresses and thereby eliminating tensile stresses. This sometimes denominated arch action. In order to preserve arch action and prevent collapse of the arch, the thrust must be restrained either by internal ties or external bracings such as abutments. So the next system is a shell system. In building construction, it is a thin curved plate structure shaped to transmit applied forces by compressive, tensile and shear stresses that act in the plane of the surface. These are usually constructed of concrete reinforced with steel mesh. Shell structures can be made of such materials as reinforced thin shell concrete, glass and steel or otherwise plastic. The image shows the shell structures are also called as plate structures. They are lightweight construction using shell elements. These elements typically curved or assembled to make large structures. A primary difference between a shell structure and a plate structure is that in the unstressed state, the shell structure has curvature as opposed to the plate structure which is flat. So the next one is the tent system. As we all know what is tent, it is defined as a structure, enclosure or shelter with or without sidewalls or drops, constructed of fabric or pliable materials, supported by any manner except by air or the contents that it protects. So it is a membrane, it is a thin and flexible surface. Here we can see the images of the traditional tent structure and the tent structure which is in Saudi Arabia. Here we can see the various tent structures. Initially, the tents were first used as portable homes by nomadic people. But today, their main application is for armed forces and recreational. Modern tents are usually made of fire-retardant materials. It may be saddle roof or mast supported or arc supported or combination of several support types. The next system is a cable system. So what is the cables? So cables can be made up of mild steel and it have high strength. Structural cables are made of a series of small strands twisted or bound together to form a much larger cable. Steel cables are either spiral strands where circular rods are twisted together and glued using a polymer. Cables can hold tension forces but not the compression. Here we can see the cable bridges in various places. Here we can see the examples of cable stayed bridges. A cable stayed bridge, one of the most modern bridges, consists of a continuous strong beam with one or more pillars or towers in the middle. Cable stretch diagonally between these pillars or towers and the beam. These cables support the beam. The cables are anchored in the tower rather at the end. So these are the types of structures. Based on the structure, it is classified as load bearing structure, framed structure and composite structure. Let's see one by one. So first one is load bearing structure. So it is a structure comprising of slabs, beams and load bearing walls. Load bearing wall is an active structural element of a building which holds the weight of the elements above it by conducting its weight to a foundation structure below it. It is one of the earliest form of construction. Such type of structures are most suited where hard strata of soil is available at shallow depth. Advantages and disadvantages of load bearing structure. Advantages: it has thick brick wall. Thicker walls give more weather resistance, noise protection. It is good and cheap for less than 2-floor construction because bricks are cheap. Disadvantage: it loses carpet area due to more thickness of wall. Labor work is increased and material like brick is also required in quantity. When the wall collapses in any situation, then whole structure will collapse. Load bearing structure is bad at earthquake resistance as shock waves produce irregular tension and compression in columns. Tension is beared greatly by steel of RCC which is absent in load bearing structure. Here we can see the images or examples of load bearing structures. Taj Mahal is one of the load bearing structure. So next one is framed structure. First we have to know what is framing. Framing means to give shape and support to a structure by combining components in building. Hence, a framed structure is a structure having the combination of beam, column and slab to resist the gravity and other lateral loads. These structures are generally used to overcome the large forces, moments developing due to the applied loads. It can be of concrete, steel or wood. Advantages and disadvantages. There are many advantages as compared to disadvantage. Flexible and they have good results in earthquake. Cost reduction due to thinner walls. Speed of construction. Can add more floors. Carpet area is almost the same. The disadvantage lies in between different types of frame structure such as concrete structure, steel structure and wood structure. So these are the examples of framed structure. So what is a composite structure? The structure constructed with combination of both load bearing as well as framed structure is called a composite structure. The past few decades have seen outstanding advances in the use of composite materials in the structural applications. In this type of structure, external walls are treated as load bearing walls and all intermediate supports are in the form of RCC columns. So we have to know the difference between the load bearing structure and framed structure and what are all the advantages and disadvantages comparing to both structure. In load bearing structure, the cost is less, suitable up to 3 stories, but in framed structure the cost is more, reinforcement suitable for any number of stories. Walls are thicker and hence floor area is reduced. Here the walls are thinner, hence more floor area available for use. Slow construction, speedy construction. Not possible to alter position of walls after construction because walls are responsible to transfer the load. Here the position of walls may be changed whenever necessary. Resistance to earthquake is poor, resistance to earth forces is good. And also the load bearing structure is not affected by corrosion, but the RCC framed structure is prone to corrosion. In load bearing the cost of repair is less and it is more in framed structure. In load bearing it is not possible to change the room dimension, but there is flexibility in changing the room dimension in case of framed structure. The main difference is limited storage buildings only be constructed in load bearing, but multi-story buildings can be constructed in framed structure. Hope you all understand what is a structural system and its classification, and thank you so much for your listening. Thank you all.